a headline I just saw on the Journal of Commerce here. It says, Congress at impasse, government shuts down. That's your federal government. Your state government's working for you. And I say that with a smile, but with some sadness too, because government should be working for you. It's our government. It's the people's government. And Hallie, when I see somebody like you serving our country, and I know your brother Chad is as well, and for our other members of on active duty and Guard and reserves, we are so thankful for you and thankful for the service you render. I know you just got back from Afghanistan. Didn't Chad just get back as well? Is that where we are too? So lots of families making lots of sacrifices for us. The least we can do is have a working, functional federal government. When it comes to that, I do want to say, I want to make a few comments on where we're seeing some impacts in Alaska, because they're very important. In our National Guard, I just learned yesterday that we have about 600 federal technicians, people who do maintenance, people who do payroll, logistics. They've been furloughed as well without pay. And we're starting to see some degradation there, and because I just became aware of it in the last 24 hours, we're going to work to take some steps on the state side to try to mitigate that if we can. But we really do need some action with our federal government to make sure that our folks get returned to duty with the pay they deserve. Also, last week when I became aware that in our federal refuges, we were told you got to, and this is Fish and Wildlife Service, we were told that if you're floating through a federal refuge, like on the Kenai, you got to pull in your fishing lines. You can't fish anymore. Well, yeah, I told the Secretary of Interior that's crazy talk. Okay, direct quote, because ANILCA gives us as a state the right to utilize those refuges for more than what Fish and Wildlife is letting us have access for. Fish and Wildlife Service has said we can only have access for subsistence purposes, and if you're an inholder, then you can have access. But ANILCA actually allows much broader access to the refuges. And I want to give credit where credit is due. The National Park Service and BLM, I don't often get to say this, but they have done a good job in allowing access to National Park Service and BLM lands as compared to Fish and Wildlife Service. So I made a direct call to the Secretary, asked them to review ANILCA and to revisit their decision on federal refuges.